Alright people, the day has finally come because today we'll be taking a look at Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, a game that many of you have practically been begging me to cover ever since Hawktober began 5 years ago. So what better way to finish off this year's special than with this unlocked memory from my childhood. Yeah, I'm talking about Toy Story, Tarzan and The Lion King all shredding it up on the official Tony Hawk's Pro Skater engine. All the normal people out here probably thinking, Jesus, look at this grown-ass adult excited to play a skateboarding game designed for children. Yeah. This is gonna be totally rad, dude. I don't even care, okay? Because this is who I am, this is what I like, and I don't want to be told to grow up. Do you know who I hate? The children featured in the intro of this game. Activision sent out a casting call and held competitions for them to be featured as characters in the game. Now that's cool and all, but man, that always made me so angry as a kid. Little bastard show-offs, they all think they're so cool. They really think they can skate better than me? I bet they got to hold hands with all the girls on the playground too. Hell, I'm a grown man now and I'm still seething. Why didn't I get to be in the game? Anyway. In 2003, with Activision's O2 brand on its deathbed, Toys for Bob were handed the Pro Skater 4 game engine and told, hey, make a game with all this Disney shit because we need to recoup some losses, and this was the result. Sure, we've never seen any of these characters actually skateboard before, but that doesn't matter. There was a mutilated skateboard character in Toy Story, so all bases are covered. This makes total sense. Man, I still remember that day in the video rental store many moons ago that I first locked eyes with this charming stud, and boy, was I lovesick. Though our affair was brief as I only rented it for a week, all of these years later, I am so excited to finally rekindle that old flame. But you guys know how this works, okay? We are going to be casting all nostalgic bias aside for the sake of fair and honest critique. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that makes me shit my pants a little, okay? Because this has the potential to be dire, dated trash in 2021. So, I guess we're gonna find out very soon. Arriving at the title screen is pretty surreal, that's one way of putting it. The cast of characters is strong, 4 from each franchise, with half of them to be unlocked as we play through. Then we have Ryan and Mally Ann, the featured winners of the contest, along with all of the other lucky kids who have been eternally cemented in history within this video game. Yes, I am very jealous, but luckily I can be in the game too thanks to Create a Skater. Actually, no thanks. It's quite limited in comparison to THPS 4, with the majority of items either too wacky for my taste, or locked behind progression, or both. So it's difficult to make anything decent with this. I mean, what poor kid has a comb over like that at the age of 8 for Christ's sake? Anyway, this kind of looks like me, I suppose. I mean, the height is 1-to-1, I'll give it that. We start off in Ollywood, which acts as a hub world, and right out of the gate, we're met by Mr. Nokia. We have to ride around to the different characters listening to the ringtone on their Nokia 5100 phones. First mission in the game, and it's a fucking product placement, and a gross one at that. You know, I really don't appreciate my son being sold a phone plan inside of his video game. Man, as if hearing the individual songs wasn't enough, now we get this? Oh my god, how long does this go on for? It's still going! What the fuck? Man, this is offensively bad. All of the missions in this level are kinda strange actually. We've got your standard races and fundamentals carried over from Pro Skater, and with the same controls and game engine, that's actually not a problem. The problem is clearly the developers having no idea what they were really doing. I mean, the skate letters are placed in such a counterintuitive manner. The first letter is hidden underneath, behind your starting point, and the E is way over here away from everything else. There are also two objectives inside of a supermarket destroying everything in sight. Man, I'm surprised this room isn't filled with real-world product placements too. How did they resist the urge? It's not much of a level overall. The skate park area is okay, but everything else is uninspired, with elements such as the parking garage even ripped directly from the college level. Oh, and the McDonald's mission, where Ronald orders this child to go out and deliver various products? I haven't seen product placement this blatant since the McDonald's training game on DS. Also, when the fuck do I get to play as the Disney characters? Is Simba gonna be force-feeding Big Macs to the hyenas or some shit? Hollywood sucks. I want to play as Tarzan and Buzz Lightyear. All I can do is go into the cinema and watch the movies that were advertised. Hey, don't sit too close to the screen, kid, or you'll get square eyes. To get to the other levels, we need to teleport through the magical warp gates scattered around the map. Oh god, that's disgusting. I don't want to play as this loser though, I want to play as the appropriate characters. There is no in-game selection, so let's exit real quick, select Woody, and... well, all of the levels are listed here, so why even bother messing around in Hollywood? Just pick the character and play their levels. Done. Don't waste my time. Andy's Room is a classic level in Tony Hawk lore, even being ported over to Thug Pro, which if you didn't know, is a fan-developed mod for Underground 2 that combines content from the entire series and beyond with online multiplayer and great customization. Well worth checking out. But yeah, this is more of what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted out of this game, and I'm not disappointed. You may recall Little Big World from THPS4's PS1 port. Well, this is a far superior realization of that concept. The way objects in the room are used to create fun and functional skate terrain is a sight to behold after a week of misery looking at some of these other Disney skateboarding games. Even the actors who are not the actual cast of the movies do a good job with their impressions. Everything here feels really authentic, and that's important. Switching over to the Jungle Treehouse, which is Tarzan's first level, I'm not as keen on this one given its very vertical nature, but it's still fine with plenty to skate on and very basic but fun objectives. I mean, this is designed for babies after all. Now over to Pride Rock, where Simba is apparently moments away from being fucking executed by a sniper. Again, it has the big vertical structure in the centre, but thankfully features more focus towards the ground. You know what? This is good. It's not great or anything, but this is good. I'm enjoying playing this. I mean, it's mostly nice just to see some fun and recognisable locations that aren't the result of a fever dream for a change. And seeing all of the attention placed onto the smaller details is great too. Every character is very animated, all with their own unique moves, which is excellent, and seeing some four-legged fellas riding around is great too. I love playing as Timon and Pumbaa, but Simba has a move that is literally him hanging on for dear life. Hey kids, remember that scene from the movie? Remember when Mufasa was fucking murdered by Scar and Simba was very sad? Well, now you can literally recreate that scene in the canyon level and race Scar through a bunch of checkpoints on your skateboard. Epic! All of that is topped off with the jarring noise of Jump 5 and Smash Mouth. The limited soundtrack makes this exhausting after a short while. Maybe this game needed an original soundtrack composed for the different worlds, instead of a kid-friendly alternative to the punk rock sound of the Pro Skater series. Especially once Lil Romeo and Little D start rapping about girls on the playground, like fuck dude! Who thought that was necessary or appropriate? For a child to be a hip-hop rap star and try to do a PG version of that type of content? My god! Lil Romeo is even an unlockable character, so have fun with that. Moving on from that, overall the game is tolerable, but once you start progressing, it quickly becomes quite tiring, unfortunately. Goals are quite limited with very low scores. Every course is littered with items we need to collect, but there isn't much variation from that. None of this leaves any impact anyway. And with 3 levels for each franchise, it's as long as Pro Skater 4 with none of the substance. All of the first levels for each series were quite good too, but the rest are absolutely terrible. Pizza Planet in particular stands out as one that really should have been better. Split across 4 different rooms with no cohesive structure and a severe lack of combo lines, all while blasting the player with layers upon layers of obnoxious sound effects, it makes me want to have a seizure. The elephant graveyard visually is really cool, but the roller coaster structure forcing you to the top every time you fall in the countless amounts of pits is exhausting, making this so difficult to navigate, unfortunately. And the human camp in Tarzan is just plain shit, with not 1, but 2 missions where we have to grind the campfires. Thankfully, the jungle vines towards the back lead us out into this gorgeous set of rocky pools. It's at this point we start requiring certain characters in order to complete some missions, so again, it forces us back out to the title screen to change. I'm glad we can mix and match as we please without losing our progress, but if you're going to force that upon me, then let me swap within the pause menu. Maybe I'm overreacting. There could be bigger fish to fry, but quality of life fixes really stand out when there's not much else to report. The final Toy Story level is Zurg's World. Now hang on a minute, of all the Toy Story 2 locations you could include in the game, why would you choose a fictional place that doesn't even exist within the real world of Toy Story instead of, oh I don't know, Al's Toy Barn? Yeah, that would have been so cool. Then they could fill it with more product placements like Barbies, potatoes and Disney shit. Don't forget to use your Nokia 5100 to call mummy for permission before you charge her credit card. Zurg's World sucks too. Just grey, dull BS with shit-all combo lines and a boss fight? Yeah, we actually get to defeat Zurg. We do a loop which turns on the platform so that we can hop over to his power supply. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of into this. I never played much of Lightyear to the Rescue, but I kind of want to now. Maybe we'll have to take a look at some more Toy Story sometime soon. And we actually unlock Zurg for our efforts, which is definitely a highlight of the game. Much better than a child version of Jane from Tarzan. That's just creepy. I hate it. And with moves like the high society side grab, I'm surprised Lord of the Jungle has the time of day for her. But aside from filling out the rest of the cast, there isn't much in the way of additional characters or bonus maps to unlock. I didn't expect the level of secrets to be on the same bar as Pro Skater 4, but come on, is this not the perfect opportunity to have a young 80s Tony Hawk as a secret character? Or maybe even Sid from Toy Story? I guess you could try to make them and create a skater, but what's the point? Even with the characters we do have available, they are all restricted to their franchise levels. Yes, what an impossible error! Even when selecting Free Skate, you cannot play as a Toy Story character in a Lion King level or any other variation of that. The only characters who have the ability are the kids, and if you ask me, that's just another reason to hate them, because nobody wants to play as the damn stupid kids. So overall, while this game still has some standout moments in a few levels, great visuals and enjoyable, albeit very low effort missions, crafted on top of the solid Pro Skater 4 foundations, unfortunately, it does not live up to over a decade of nostalgia-fueled hype. One of the biggest problems here is the weak course design, which in my opinion, a lot of this just isn't all that interesting to explore, and a major reason why that may be, is the game featuring 2 sets of jungle-themed locations. Despite all the Renaissance hits in the 90s, I understand there weren't many young characters to draw inspiration from, but why not swap out Tarzan for young Hercules instead? Then we could have had levels in Greek cities, heavenly clouds, and the underworld. And we could have had Danny DeVito riding a fucking skateboard. Dude, I just made this an instant classic. What a missed opportunity. So without that, what we're left with is just an overall dull experience, made even worse by the brain-numbing soundtrack and just generally having miss after miss with a whole bunch of smaller issues. I honestly couldn't give Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure any higher than a 5 out of 10. It's a fair average game, a relic of its era, like a window back to a simpler time, which, in the end, is par for the course with most of the content we feature here on Hawktober every year. But on that note, while this year's special is almost finished, we're not finished yet. No. Just for pure curiosity's sake, let's take a quick look at the Game Boy Advance port and see what it has to offer. Interesting, on the back of the box, it still mentions that it's built on the Pro Skater 4 engine, which is a bit misleading if you ask me. Unless they mean the GBA Pro Skater 4 engine, which is accurate, given Vicarious Visions also handled this port after doing such an outstanding job with all of the Tony Hawk games on this system. If you want to learn more about that, then consider checking out Portable Pro Skater Games Parts 1 and 2 once we finish up with this game. This is much more simplified. Here we just select a series, choose a character, and launch into the first level. No mention of Ollywood or those annoying kids, thank God. Starting off in Andy's room again, and holy shit! It's so damn small. I feel like I'm trying to skate inside of a shoebox or something. As you complete certain missions, more segments of the environment are opened up, kind of similar to the GBA port of Tony Hawk's Underground, which was released a month later. But why even bother doing this? It's claustrophobic and boring with the weak objectives. Hell, even once the level opens up a lot more, it's still not great at all given the sheer lack of interesting terrain and uninspired goals. Man, screw this. Let's see if Pride Rock is any better. No, of course it's not. This tier-stacked disaster is so botched, I can barely stand the sight of it. All we really do is cruise around the map herding wildebeest and looking around, rather than actually skating. It doesn't take long to get through, but it feels like an eternity with that 30-second loop of jungle music playing over and over again, echoing through my skull. I know that I asked for original music, but now I don't know what's worse, this mind-numbing tune, or hearing, "Where's your head at?" every 5 minutes. Tarzan's Jungle Treehouse is no better, by the way. Now, these levels suck. Beyond the art direction and recognisable characters, nothing about these represent their original forms, whereas the Pro Skater games, actual time was put in to make the ported levels feel as authentic as possible, and most times, Vicarious succeeded almost effortlessly. Man, what a disappointment. And now I've unlocked Pizza Planet, so... Hey, wait a minute. I want to switch over to Buzz to play Pizza Planet, but you're telling me it's locked? Progress is locked to each character? Are you actually trying to piss me off? That was the one saving grace to the console game, getting to mix things up with who you play as, and you fucking take that away from me? I mean, half the roster has been culled anyway and used as NPCs within the levels. I can accept that because it's a portable system. But come on, who doesn't want to play as Buzz frickin' Lightyear? So fuck it. Starting over as Buzz this time, and in a shocking turn of events, the second set of levels are actually superior. Pizza Planet is the weakest, but at least it's far less complicated trying to navigate, and the space aesthetic is cool. The Elephant Graveyard, once it opens up, feels much better to skate, and both this and the Human Camp with Tarzan even feature a few combo lines. Balance has been restored to the universe. It's a shame the objectives are literally copy and pasted over with no additional challenge to offer us, but at least that means we'll be finished with this game relatively quickly. Oh, it says here that I've unlocked a boss fight. A boss fight? Yeah, each franchise has its own boss fight, so for Toy Story, we get to battle Zurg again, and what can I say? We grind some rails and he melts. Big scary boss defeated. Scar is even easier, can you believe? You just lip trick on the quarter pipes around his podium, which causes an earthquake. It's so pathetic. Clayton, on the other hand, is the only one with any actual fighting spirit. We've got to save all of the caged animals by launching up and tricking on their cages twice, all while avoiding falling barrels. It's still not difficult by any means, but they did at least try. Ultimately though, this game is just a piss take. A woeful, uneventful and completely forgettable experience. Simply put, don't waste your time with it. What else can I say? Extreme Skate Adventure on the Game Boy Advance gets 2 out of 10. It's all doom and gloom when even the foundations and developers that made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater great across multiple platforms still cannot provide decent alternatives when approached from an alternate direction. And while I'm sure these games still performed reasonably well and are remembered fondly by fans, maybe it's for the best that this was Disney's final attempt at cashing in on the skateboarding hype in the early 2000s. So that is all of the Hawktober I have to offer you this year. Thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting the channel in 2021, and I'll almost certainly be back again next year with even more skateboarding content, because you have no idea, we have only begun to scratch the surface. So until then, I hope you enjoyed all of the videos this week. If you did, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and remember to share this with your friends and on social media. And if you think I've earned it, then maybe even consider pledging on Patreon or purchasing some Hawktober merchandise at the links below, because that is a great way to support what I do here on the channel. I'm Square Eye Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.